Hello and welcome to episode 14 of the Vera Shafiq podcast, real and relevant discussions on business, marketing, technology, and digital. I'm your host, Vera Shafiq, and I talk to people in business and marketing who care about doing marketing the right way and want to be proud of the work they do. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe and review, and I hope you enjoy the show. Well, hello there, and welcome everyone to the podcast. Today, I wanted to do a solo episode, and I wanted to talk about some of the things in the news that I've been reading about in the marketing domain. One of my favorite websites is marketingdive.com. It's one of my go-to marketing news websites. And I came across some articles recently on there, which I wanted to talk about. One of them is regarding NFTs. So if you don't know what NFTs are, they've been really widely featured in the news and media recently, and they stand for non-fungible token. And what an NFT is a unique digital token which effectively verifies authenticity and ownership, and it's encrypted with the artist's or the creator's signature on the blockchain. And it's a digital ledger on the blockchain used in cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin. So I believe the NFT blockchain is Ethereum. I think they use the Ethereum blockchain for that, simply because of the nature of the certification and the authentication that's needed. And I think it's kind of goes into the realm of a smart contract, which is something that you can trade in the future. But I'm not 100% sure. And I hope to do a podcast sometime in the future to actually go into blockchain in a much deeper way. But the point is that NFTs have been hitting the news recently. And one of the articles on the Marketing Dive that I came across was regarding Charmin, the toilet paper brand, whose umbrella brand is P&G. They recently jumped on the NFT trend with a toilet paper artwork auction. So what they did was auctioned off 3 original digital artworks, and they basically donated the proceeds to a charity called Direct Relief, which is a nonprofit that provides emergency medical supplies and resources to needy communities. So I thought this was a really interesting story, and kind of shows the universal reach and use case for these NFTs. So what P&G did was they enlisted some artists and a graphic studio, and the artists created images and artwork that basically shows rolls of Charmin toilet paper with different ornamentations. And this particular NFT came with a physical display that allows the person who owns it to display this piece of artwork in their bathroom alongside real rolls of toilet paper. So I thought that was really unique and kind of funny. But in terms of NFTs, if you've been listening to the media, if you follow Gary Vee, you'll know that he's a really big spokesperson for these non-fungible tokens. He's always on the cutting edge of, the futuristic types of things that are going on in the media. He's always been a sports card collector and fanatic, and he always talks about his I think it's his baseball card collection from when he was younger. But he has been talking a lot about NFTs. He's really bullish on them, and is kind of heavily invested in the whole phenomenon. And he has talked about it on several news channels. He's been on the news and has really kind of talked it up a lot. One of the other news items similar to this one, just regarding NFTs, was the digital mosaic artwork piece that was auctioned off for $69.3 million. So this was a piece of news, I think, probably over a month or two ago now. So it's a little older piece of news, but there's a South Carolina artist known as Beeple, And I guess that's his stage name. He's been producing digital artwork for a while. And one of his mosaic pieces of artwork auctioned off for $69.3 million. And it was the most expensive digital asset with an NFT ever sold. And the third most expensive artwork sold by a living artist. And the person that bought it was some mysterious buyer. He was a cryptocurrency entrepreneur. Again, he uses a stage name or a pseudonym. His name was Metacoven. I think that was his pseudonym. I think that's how you pronounce it. And he has made a kind of living out of buying these NFTs and putting them up for sale to the public as tokens. So it's a financial investment for this guy. And he seems to be making quite a little pot of gold for himself here doing this. So anyway, I thought that was interesting story on NFTs. So listen out for more, because I think we're going to be hearing a lot more about these in the media. So the second story that I was reading on Marketing Dive was regarding brand collaborations, or you can call it co-branding, which is happening on IGTV. And it seems to be a trend which is taking up more and more popularity. And the particular example they quoted was Whole Foods getting together with Headspace, which is an app that deals with meditation and mental wellness. And these two brands got together and created an IGTV series that showed recipes and cooking tips on how to make food which is friendly and conducive to a good mental health. So this was really interesting because I thought, okay, yes, we hear about brands getting together, doing co-branding marketing activities, but the use of IGTV to do this seems to be more popular and seems to be a really effective platform on which to do these kinds of things. So what Whole Foods did was they teamed up with Chef Sophia Rowe and Dr. Uma Naidu, who's a Harvard nutritional psychiatrist and the author of a book called This Is Your Brain on Food. And they put together this 4-part series called Food for Mood. And they did it on IGTV. And it really kind of took off. Kind of makes sense, actually, the way they did this partnership, because their target audiences, while not necessarily exactly the same, have some overlap and definitely have some similarities in their mindset. So we've got your Whole Foods audience, which is the healthy eating, healthy lifestyle audience, love to eat food that's good and healthy and organic, vegans, etc. And then the Headspace audience, which are people that are into mental wellness and health, right? And, people that download the Headspace app are, again, people that like to look after themselves, look after their mental health, be in a really good psychological state of mind. So, getting together seems to be a no-brainer, no pun intended. And I think that was a really nice story that they used IGTV to present their idea and their content on. And then the article also went on to mention that another kind of co-branding strategy or initiative that happened was with Ariana and Tom from Vanderpump Rules. So Vanderpump Rules is a Bravo TV program that features, these bartenders in LA, hip and trendy, and they're always like making these cool cocktails behind the bar of Lisa Vanderpump's establishments. So Ariana and Tom, they got together with Alka-Seltzer and did an IGTV series on making mocktails that will help with your hangovers after you've had a crazy night out on the town, or had too many real cocktails. So what they did was they went ahead and created IGTV videos that that showed how you can make these mocktails, cocktails that don't contain any alcohol, using Alka-Seltzer as the the effervescent kind of vehicle behind them. And again, I thought that was a really interesting partnership, and very interesting to see that they were doing it using the IGTV platform. So, if we look at this trend of co-branding, it really makes sense to do. And I think it's something that all brands should look at some point, which is, it's combining the market strength and brand awareness and positive associations of two or more brands to compel consumers to pay a greater premium for them almost, it's almost like a 1 + 1 = 3 effect, where these two brands getting together makes the output of whatever they're doing content-wise and product-wise an even more valuable product for their consumers. So it's a symbiotic relationship between two brands. And I think that synergy between brands can be used in a really productive and effective way to develop new product and come up with new content ideas. So the third article that I came across was regarding the use of TikTok and nostalgic marketing. And, it was a discussion that happened at the South by Southwest conference, which took place virtually this year. And the panelists in that session were talking about various examples of how nostalgic marketing had become a really viral sensation for them. One of the examples was a video that appeared on TikTok, and it was two teenage kids just tossing a football back and forth with background music playing, and the background music track was Just the Two of Us by Bill Withers. So it's interesting that track itself is very nostalgic. It's an old piece of music, which does bring back memories for a lot of us. And it was two kids just innocently playing football in the backyard. And that video went viral because it got picked up by the NFL, and they started to comment on that video and really kind of took that video under their wing. And since then, that video has racked up about 67 million views. And the teenagers got involved, and, it just became a sensation. So this just goes to show how user-generated content can really play into the success of something that wasn't intentionally a brand play, right? This wasn't necessarily aimed towards the NFL, but the NFL were able to pick it up and make it into something. And when we think of nostalgic marketing, it's something that works really well right now in the current zeitgeist because of all of the stresses of COVID and what people have been going through the last year or so. People want to get away from the current situation. They want to go back to the old days and sentimentalize. So it really makes sense that nostalgic marketing is something that, brands should try. And in this case, it was on TikTok and it worked really well. And then in this same South by Southwest session, there was also a discussion with the social media head of Ocean Spray, which I think we're more familiar with the story of Ocean Spray that happened earlier in 2020, which was the guy his name was Nathan Apodaca. I think that's how you pronounce it. His TikTok handle was dogface208. He shot a video on his skateboard. So the backstory to this was I believe he was a potato farm worker. He was late for work one day. His car broke down, and he had to jump on his skateboard and hit the road to get to work on time. So he videoed himself riding into work with the hit by Fleetwood Mac, Dreams. And that, again, nostalgic song. It's a hit from 1977. He looked really happy. He looked really cool on his skateboard. He was taking sips out of his bottle of cranberry juice, Ocean Spray. And it went viral. And I think we've probably all heard about that story and probably all seen the video itself because it really did hit the media in a big way. And again, so this brand, Ocean Spray, wasn't even on TikTok at the time, but now they've made it part of their strategy to boost awareness, especially amongst the younger customers, because Ocean Spray has traditionally been more of an old school product. People of the older generation probably remember drinking that juice when they were kids. And now that we have the Gen Zers, coming up and probably they're not as familiar with that brand as maybe they should be. So Ocean Spray really jumped on this bandwagon and have got onto TikTok to grab that particular audience segment's attention. And then there was a quote from the social media head of Ocean Spray that came right out of that panel at South by Southwest. And she said, especially during the time when the video came out, people were starting to feel COVID fatigue and looking for something to make them feel good. Just the feel-good sensation of Apodaca riding the skateboard with that song was really nice, and it ties into who we are as a brand. So again, really interesting story. And just incidentally, I read about something as a side story here, that this TikTok sensation, Nathan Apodaca, is actually auctioning his viral video as an NFT. So this kind of ties back to the original story that I talked about. He thinks that it's something that people will be really interested to own as a piece of media collectible, I guess, pop culture, which it really is right now. So he's put it up, and bidding starts at $500,000, and it's going to be a non-fungible token on the blockchain. Interesting to note, though, that the song by Fleetwood Mac will not feature on the video, and nor will the Ocean Spray brand name. So I guess they're going to blur it out or something because of copyright issues. But he's still going for it, and I think that's a really great story. I'm sure he'll put the money that he makes out of it to good use. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little article roundup for this week, and I will be putting a link in the show notes to each of those articles so you can check them out for yourself. Well, that's it for today, folks. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did like what you heard, please subscribe to catch more episodes, and I'd really appreciate it if you'd leave a review and share with your friends and colleagues. Visit my website at virashafiq.com, connect with me on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Clubhouse, or send me an email. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time.